What's up, guys? Happy weekend. I normally post videos every Friday. That's my goal. Unless life gets crazy. And here's what I do is I create really cute vlogs where I invite you into our life and I show you our routines and blah blah blah. And then I'm like, what's the point of this video? Why would people just watch all of these little things that are happening in my life when it's not about anything? And then I don't post it, and then it's last minute on a Friday, and I'm like, I'll just record a video talking about something. And so then I gave you this really low production video where I just woke up an hour ago. I slept with leftover makeup on, didn't fix anything, haven't even brushed my teeth yet. And then I'm like, I'll just talk about something. So that's what I'm gonna do today. So here's my really long 60-second intro, and I figured I would talk about grieving. I just did a Facebook Live on this in our free Facebook group. It's called Alive and Free Community. If you're not already a part of it, I'd really recommend to go see it. I do Facebook Lives every Tuesday at 1 p.m. PST, and I've been talking about different topics. So I talked about relationship with your body and body image. I talked about grief and grieving, and then I have a few of our other coaches that are support coaches for our clients. I have them come in on Thursdays and they do talks as well. So I just recently talked about this, but I wanted to talk a little bit about grief. I love doing reality checks because I have a really beautiful life and I feel very blessed, and I have a lot of really amazing things that happen in my life, and I feel just the kindness of God. And yet I still go through really hard things. I still have big pain that comes up. I would like to call myself a grounded, self-aware person. I feel pretty connected to God in my life, and I, even in the midst of going on a long healing journey and having a lot of elements in my life that create a really healthy lifestyle, it doesn't eliminate grieving. It doesn't eliminate hard things. It doesn't eliminate disconnection and emotional pain and trauma that I'm still grieving. I still have to walk through those things. And so I wanted to talk about grief because I think it's a really necessary element of navigating through life and getting to the point where you're feeling free and whole and connected. And one thing that I'll just share is I feel like I've been getting taken out blow after blow for the last couple of weeks. Life felt like it was progressively getting better, and I had more energy and I felt more connected, and my marriage felt like it was getting better and more connected, and it felt like we were mending all of these things, and I was really, really, really coming alive. And then it's been thing after thing after thing, and the last straw of it for me, which happened yesterday, was on my 3rd wedding anniversary. Woke up, went to the gym after spending really good time with God and journaling, and I was doing some deadlifts, and I pulled my lower back. I pulled or strained something. I don't know what happened. And it hurt so bad, and I was in so much excruciating pain all through my lower back and hips, down my left leg, in between my shoulder blades. I was in so much pain, and it triggered this thing in me where I just was like, are you kidding me? On top of everything else that I've been walking through and the grief that I've been processing and trying to feel and work through, this feels so powerless. My body feels like the one thing for years that I've had this, not fantasy, illusion. Control really all is an illusion. And I've felt really out of control in a lot of areas of my life since childhood. And I remember turning 18 and deciding I can't control anything, but I can control myself. So I'm going to be as controlling as I can with myself. And so I would work out and I would eat healthy and I'd be disciplined because it gave me a sense of control. And so every time I've had injuries with my body, it triggers this like last straw of like the one thing that I feel like I can like have some kind of control of is being taken from me, because now I can hardly walk and I can't sit up straight and laying down hurts and I can't get out of bed. So it triggered a lot of internal pain and powerlessness for me. And if you're someone that's had any kind of chronic issues or a physical injury or whatever it is, I'm sure that you can relate to that feeling of powerlessness. The beautiful thing is it can actually strip you of your illusion that you're in control. It humbles you, it brings you to this place of surrender. But it's necessary with the things in life that we go through to grieve them, whether it's a divorce that you've gone through, whether it's family trauma, whether it's losing a loved one, whether it's disconnection in your marriage, whether it's a physical thing that happens to your body, if it's something that happens to your kid or your job. If you have pain and emotional pain, in order to actually get healthy to the other side, health looks like grief. Grief looks like allowing yourself to feel the pain, letting it rise up, mourning it and processing it however you need to. For me, that's looked like laying in bed for days at a time at different moments in my life. For me, it's looked like doing the thing that I need to do and allowing myself, even if it's for an entire week, an entire season, or for several years, allowing yourself to feel and to mourn that, and not putting this expectation on yourself that you should be over this by now, that you should be past this, that this shouldn't be a struggle anymore. Or maybe you're someone, like I was talking to a client last night actually on our coaching call, and she asked a question about one thing, and I was like, you must have gone through a lot of pain for you to ask that question. I'm wondering, like, what was that tragic thing that you went through? Come to find out, her sister had committed suicide recently. And at one point in time, she's like, I thought that I had grieved this enough. And I just was like, you might have to grieve intensely for the next 5 years. You might be mourning intensely for the next 10 years. And then after that, it's probably still going to be wave after wave. You shouldn't have arrived in your grief process. There's no amount, even in the healing journey, where like I have tons of tools, and we give our clients tons of tools to process pain and to mourn and to get to a place where they're healthy and connected to joy and to love. It doesn't eliminate the grief process. I've been on a healing journey for 10 years, and there are still things that I feel like I've grieved and processed and mourned 100 times, maybe more for some things. And I still will get a wave of grief and I need to mourn it. Me continuing to grieve isn't an indicator that I'm unhealthy. Me continuing to grieve something wave after wave or layer of layer isn't an indicator that I'm not doing a good job, or that I'm not connected to God, or that I'm not actually stable. A lot of the times we make these statements and assessments and beliefs about who we are or who we're not based on what we're processing through. And the shame that's attached to that, what we're doing is shaming ourselves, saying, you should be further along than this by now. That's a shame statement. And when we shame ourselves on top of grieving, you already have healthy grieving and healthy pain that needs to be processed. And then you add shame on top of that. My friend Abby calls it dirty pain. So the grief is the clean pain. And then when you shame yourself or have self-judgment or self-hatred on top of that, then you have dirty pain. So now you have compounded pain that needs to be processed through. The clean pain is enough to deal with. You'll already have a lot of grief that's going to be happening and things that you need to process through. But when you don't give yourself compassion or permission or space to feel and understanding for why you're going through that, it stacks on and adds compounded pain and grief. And it's not necessary. But what I've found is that we need to go on a healing journey to figure out how to get rid of this dirty pain so that we can actually deal with the clean pain that's underneath it. And that's a lot of what we do in our programs, is helping you identify, where is there shame in my life? Where is there self-hatred? Where's there self-judgment? Who did I learn that from? How did that impact me? What are all of the beliefs that I've created about myself and people and life and God and process because of the way I was parented, because of the way my peers taught me how to do things, because of the way that the church treated me, and now I view God that way. It's really important to get really self-aware and be able to identify these things so that we can process through that dirty pain and get rid of it and heal the things that's causing it, so that we can actually go on a grieving process so that we can mourn the real clean pain in our life that's happened to us. And if you avoid it, if you shove it, if you numb it, if you try to run away from it, you're actually choosing to deal with it later. You don't have the option to just never deal with it, because what happens when we have unprocessed grief and pain and trauma is it will start like growing, essentially it's like it gets bigger and it grows tentacles, and it will start reaching other places of our life. It will start leaking into relationships. It'll come out in your work environment. It will come out in the way that you parent your kids. It'll come out in the way that you see yourself. It breeds more pain. And so whenever you're not processing through your pain and actually grieving, you're just choosing to deal with it later. You're not choosing to not deal with it at all. You're choosing, I'm going to deal with this later. And the thing about later is it will affect more people negatively that you love. It will leak in ways where you'll actually have more to process and more to clean up later on because you avoided it for so long. And so all of this being said, I want to just let you guys know that it's really healthy to grieve. And you don't have to worry about becoming a victim to it or staying stuck in it forever if you have people in your life that can see you and speak into you. The beautiful thing about what we're doing in our programs is you have leadership. You have a lot of different coaches that are walking with you and checking in on you, and there's live coaching every day, but you also have community. And when we're doing process and grief alone and we're in isolation, and in that aloneness, it adds more compounded grief, like I was talking about, even with the shame and self-hatred. And then you don't know how to trust yourself. You don't know how to walk out the journey. You don't know if you're getting stuck in a victim mentality. You don't know if you have negative beliefs about God that are actually disconnecting you from Him on your side, not His. And so it's really important to go on this journey, but to have people doing it with you and to be led on a process so that you can trust, okay, I'm right where I need to be. I'm grieving this. It feels like it's taking a long time, but if I get stuck in it, if I'm in shame, if I'm in self-hatred, I have people who can speak into my life. And if you have that in your life, I feel really proud of you. I'm really, really glad. It's a huge gift. I love that you've cultivated that. It's really important to have community that you're running with and leaders that are speaking into you that can see things that you can't and call out blind spots. It will help you on your journey if you have people that can actually walk with you that are ahead of you in the process. And so, again, you have permission to grieve. The best way to grieve is, actually, I have a coach that I work with. Her name is Laura Duncan. I love her. She said to me a couple weeks ago, grief will find you when it needs to find you and leave you when it needs to leave you. And just the permission I felt of like, oh, actually, grieving is a gift that connects you to joy. Grief is in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And we can actually find God and find love and find joy and find peace on the other side of grief. We don't bypass grief to get to love or joy. We go through grief to get to it. And so I want to invite you guys to go on your grieving journey with whatever that looks like, whether it's a breakup or a loss or can't think of any other options. I want to invite you to go through that so that you can actually get to the other side. And if you're someone that's like, I don't know how to do this, or I don't give myself permission, or I feel a lot of shame, or I'm really hard on myself, or I don't feel like I have any of the things that I need to go on this journey, and I'm seeing already how my pain and my grief, or my lack of grief and avoidance of grief, is negatively affecting my life. If you're one of those people and you want help and you want community and you want leadership, we would love to help you. I'm going to post a little clip at the end of this that will tell you where to find us. And then underneath this, there will be a link so that you can watch our workshop and then book a call with one of our team members to see if we would be a good fit for you. So I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. If it is, give it a thumbs up. If someone that you know and love needs to hear this, please share it with them. And if you really love our content, then subscribe, and it really helps our channel. Love you guys. Comment and tell me how this was for you, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching our video. If you liked that video, then you're really gonna like our free workshop.
Yeah, we spontaneously play in these videos. We share good stuff right at the moment, but if you want training that really took us time to go in depth with things that we've walked our thousands of clients through with step-by-step process and help, check out that free training. And if you've already seen it, then stay towards the end, because there's an opportunity for you to connect with our team and, you know, possibly see if there's more help that we can give you. So do that right now. Do it now. Do it right now.